What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Radical Red and today's challenge will be me setting all the settings onto random. So there are multiple settings on Radical Red before you start the game and you're able to set on randomizing. So we're going to set up the randomizing learn set, the Pokemon spawns, and also level up moves. So they're completely random. I could start the game off with an Arceus that has Splash and Roar time. So everything's completely random. We're going to have some fun today. And also some fun, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving me a comment in the previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me that you guys support my channel. And let's get into the video itself. To start off with, I actually got a War Turtle. I got a starter Pokemon on the starter desk, which is kind of anticlimactic, but we got it anyway. So War Turtle will be my first Pokemon. And then I go out in the grass. I want to make sure everything's working fine. All the spawns are completely random. All the abilities are completely random. I forgot to add that part. And all the level up moves are completely random. So you don't know which one you can get. My War Turtle start off with a crazy amount of moves. And we're just going to catch this Crocodile just to test out the new abilities and stuff. This thing has Fire Veil as an ability, which is kind of funny. Our first Pokemon is going to be a Cloyster, and our second Pokemon is going to be Flaming Dodrio, which is going to be a Sevi Island form Dodrio, which is a new form of Pokemon in the game. It's going to be very cool. Unfortunately, my War Turtle go down, but my Cloyster is out here with Drizzle as an ability, so it was super nice. As we head into the first mini boss fight of the game, we're going to face out against Faulkner, and with our Cloyster and also our Dodrio, that has a lot of very strong moves. It's going to knock out Faulkner pretty easily with Head Smash, and we end up beating Faulkner. Moving on to the first gym of the game, we're going to face off against Brock next. Brock is going to be the rock type gym leader of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my War Turtle just to clamp him down and then knock him out. I have stamina on my War Turtle, so my defense gets boosted up each time I get hit. I move to knock out his Geodude and then switch out into my Dodrio to knock out his Vulpix. Now this is part of the plan because I want to do some chip damage onto his Onix, switch out so I don't lose my speed obviously. Go out into my War Turtle, sack him, then go out to my Cloyster. And then I'm just going to strength him down. Now I do a lot of chip damage to the Onix, which allows me to go out to my Dojo, force him out into his Arcan. I'm just going to Meteor Assault him and one-shot him, which is crazy. And since I knock him out, I don't have to recharge. I can knock him out with a Meteor Assault, and we knock out Onix, and we get the first gym badge of the game. We move on into the next route where we find a very cool and weird-looking Sevi Island Ursaring. We tried our best to catch it. I don't know what ability it has, but I tried my best to catch it. Unfortunately, it did not work. We ran out of Pokeballs. This thing is super hard to catch. It's just an Ursaring. Why is it so difficult to catch? We do not catch the Ursaring, but we do end up catching a Flareon. Flareon has Desolate Land as an ability, so any water move is unaffected to him. Also, he has Leaf Blade. It has infinite coverage apparently, so we're gonna catch that, add it to our team. And also in Cerulean City, there is an egg for us that we can hatch up. Our next Pokemon is going to be a Vikavolt with Guerrilla Tactics, so basically a choice banded Vikavolt. It's not really a physical attacker, but we'll just have to take it as we head into the second gym of the game. We're going to face off against Misty next. Misty is going to be the water type gym leader of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Vikavolt. Vikavolt is going to outrage into the lantern and then get burned. And that's the end of Vikavolt. Honestly, that's the peak of Vikavolt's career. As I go out to my Flareon next to absorb all the water moves and knock out the lantern with a U-turn. Lantern with a U-turn. And then go out to my Dojo, which is also fire and ground type. So it's very weak to all the water type Pokemon in here. I use Meteor Assault and then it just dies. Unfortunately, I go out to my Flareon, absorb any move this Floatzel has, I'll knock out in one shot. The Starmie comes out, it's going to two-shot me, which I'm kind of upset that I went out and took that hidden power from that Floatzel, because I couldn't knock out the Starmie. Unfortunately, I don't, so I go out into my War Turtle to fake it out and Parabolic Charges, and then I'll eventually knock out the Starmie. Then her final Pokemon will be a Frogadier, which I can just quick attack with my Cloyster, and I'm able to knock out Misty and get our second gym badge of the game. We can go out and capture ourselves Norvern. This thing doesn't have a special ability at all. I just like Norverns, so I'm just gonna add it to my team. So Norvern's pretty cool. We go out and face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Lieutenant Surge next. Lieutenant Surge is gonna start the battle off against us using a Pincurchin, which I'm gonna try to spark it. Unfortunately, it's gonna Volt Switch out, go out to his Manectric, and I don't have an answer really. Go out to my Dodrio to high horsepower it to knock him out. So actually I do have an answer for him. High horsepower will knock out the Pincurchin as well. And his next Pokemon is going to be a Raichu, which will knock out my War Turtle obviously. So I go out to my Flareon. Flareon is able to knock off into the Vikavolt and Fire Fang to knock him out. He then sends out his Boton, which I'm like, oh, I'm not too threatened by this, so I knock him off. And then I'm gonna switch out to my Vikavolt, barely survive a Fire Fang, but I'm able to knock him out with an Outrage. And then his last Pokemon will be a Ride, which I go out to my Dojo, miss my Head Smash, but knock him out with a high horsepower. It's all good. We end up being Lieutenant Surge, and we can move on and catch our next Pokemon. We were gonna get a Pinsir and just Mega Evolve him, use him as a Mega. Unfortunately, in this game, Pinsir's ability is Truant, so I decided to go out for this Milotic. Now, this Milotic, certain Militics have Dark Aura. We don't want that ability. We want the Militics with Soul Heart. Soul Heart allows me to gain a special attack boost every time a Pokemon goes down. Doesn't matter if I knock them out, or they knock themselves out, or someone else knocks them out in a double battle fight. I'm able to get a +1 special attack boost, so that's going to be very useful on a Milotic, on a Sevi Island form Milotic. Unfortunately, it's Fairy and Ground type, so it's kind of weird typing, but we'll make do. As we face off against the 4th gym leader in the game, we're going to face off against Erica next. Erica's going to be the Grass type gym leader of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Vikavolt to just bait in the Electrode and just sack my Vikavolt. That's probably the last time you see Vikavolt too. Then I'm going to send in my Dojo to knock out the Meganium with a Gunk Shot. Venusaur comes out next. I want to do some chip damage. I should have went for a high horsepower. That would have done the most damage, but whatever. Doesn't matter. As I go out to my Northern, land my first Hurricane and Boom Burst to knock out the Venusaur. Unfortunately, I missed my Hurricane against the Superior, but I'll land the second one, so actually ends up pretty well for us as we're able to knock out the Superior, and the Rillaboom's her last Pokemon. I'm able to just Hurricane and then Boom Burst to knock her out, and we end up beating Erica. That battle didn't take too long at all. Definitely did not take out all the blackouts I did against her. Obviously, it went pretty well. Next up, we're going to face off against Giovanni next. This battle got way too close for comfort. Apparently, I'm just bad at Pokemon, because I ended up having 3 Pokemon versus this one Rotom, and it went down to the wire as my Flareon lives with 2 HP and barely knocks out the Rotom. But we're able to beat Giovanni, and then we go into Silphco, where we clear through Ariana and Archer pretty easily, and I guess Brendan helped me. And then we clear through Giovanni once again. Nothing too crazy here. We got an Ampharos that we don't really use, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even nickname him on accident, so I'll have to fix that. Anyways, we're gonna face off against Sabrina next. Sabrina is gonna be the 5th gym leader in the game, and we're gonna start the battle off against him using my Flareon and also my Milotic. Very good Pokemon. We're getting Dazzling Gleam and Giant Bash into the Hatterene to knock him out, get a Soul Heart boost, which is so crazy. And then I'm gonna do it again. You think I'm not gonna do it again? I'm gonna Leaf Blade into a Crawdon and then Dazzling Gleam to knock him out, get a Soul Heart boost, and I live in Expanding Forest, so my Milotic has +2. I go out to my Dojo. Dojo is gonna Meteor Assault into the Porygon 2, and I Dazzling Gleam to knock out both of them, and then I got a +2 on both. Fortunately, the Gardevoir comes out and kind of ruins my fun. I don't know, for some reason the Gardevoir comes out and then use Trick Room. I was like, what? I was expecting it to knock me out. It set up Trick Room for me, so I go out to my Northern and also my Ampharos to go for a Volt Switch and also a Boom Burst. We end up knocking out the Gardevoir. It's just my Blastoise, my Northern, just to knock out the Ursaluna, and we end up beating Sabrina because for some reason she sets up Trick Room. I don't think I've seen her do that too often. That's weird. Anyways, we can go back into the game corner and get some prizes for ourselves. We can get ourselves a Magmar, which is gonna have the ability Shadow Shield, which that's the 3rd fire type Pokemon we're gonna have on our team. Hopefully when we face off against Lorelei, we don't face off against her water team. But anyways, we're gonna face off against Koga next. Koga's gonna be the 6th gym leader in the game, and start the battle off against him using my Salamence. I completely forgot my Salamence. I caught a Salamence. It has Delta Stream, Mega Rayquaza's ability, so of course I'm gonna have to use it. I go for a Dragon Dance first turn, knock out the Swallow. I don't know why I did that. I could have just that was completely useless. Anyways, I go out to my Flareon against his Greninja, which is going to Leaf Blade and knock out the Greninja for me. He goes out to his Drapion next, which I'm like, well, I can't go out into my Milotic, it's gonna get knocked out. So I'll stack my Flareon and then go out to my Milotic to Earth Power once, knock out the Drapion. He then goes out to a Selgor, and then I go for a Dazzling Gleam because I was like, I'll just knock him down to his Focus Sash. He goes out to his Dragapult, he gets knocked out. He goes back out to his Selgor, he goes for a Sludge Bomb, and he still gets knocked out. He then goes out to his Toxicity, which is going to knock out my Milotic, which is fine. At this point, I go out to my Dojo. Wow, it died. Wow. I might get reverse sweeped. So I go out to my Northern. Luckily enough, I am able to survive an attack from him. Go for a Tailwind, go for a Boom Burst against him. Didn't do enough damage. I go out into my Salamence. Dragon Hammer will knock him down to low HP. And then I finally go out to my Blastoise and Scald him to knock him out. And finally, we actually cleared through that. We will replace Blastoise with Cloyster in the next gym fight, which is unfortunate, but switch up the team a little bit. We don't want a Blastoise. We use Blastoise enough. We're trying to use some quirky Pokemon. And also, speaking of quirky, we beat down Price and get a Choice Scarf for ourselves. That's gonna be pretty nice. And also, we add a Magmortar to our team, I think, instead of the Ampharos, which is, justified. As you can see, my team is filled with a bunch of Fire-type Pokemon, Dodrio, Flareon, and Magmortar, some really weird Fire-type Pokemon. But we're clear through Jasmine and get the Choice Pin, and then we can face off against Blaine next. Blaine's giving me the 7th gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Cloyster. Cloyster has Lovely Kiss and Shell Smash as moves, so I'm getting Lovely Kiss into the Torkoal and Shell Smash up and Liquidation twice to knock out the Torkoal. And then the Typhlosion comes out next. I go into my Salamence. I could take any hits from him, and I'm able to Dragon Hammer, knock down 80% of his health, about. And then I go out to my Malatake for an Overdrive, which I don't know what I was doing here. Why would I want to go for an Overdrive? But anyways, that allowed me to go out to my Magmar to Magma Storm, knock out the Sunflora. And then from there, I sack more Pokemon. I went to my Salamence. I was trying to outplay its Sucker Punch. Did not work out too well. I thought I was not gonna... sometimes the Cinderace actually hits me at this first turn using Dragon Dance. This time it didn't. So I go out to my Malatake to knock out the Cinderace. Then for some reason, I went out to my Cloyster against the Exeggutor to Ice Shard him. Not even Lovely Kiss him. Okay, now I Lovely Kiss. And then I go for a Shell Smash. And then I knock him out. Which, wrong order. But with a Shell Smash, I can outspeed the Typhlosion, knock him out. And then his final Pokemon will be a Charizard. I knock him pretty low, so I shouldn't choke this. Go out to my Flareon, live an Air Slash, and I will knock him out. And we end up beating Blaine. From there though, we're going to go out into Cerulean Cave, and Cerulean Cave is pretty simple for us. We're going to face off against Ariana and Archer. The first battle against Archer went pretty easy, as you can see, and then we face off against Ariana next. It ended up being my Magmortar and my Malatake left against her Rhyperior and her Mawile, so I'm able to knock out the Rhyperior with my Magmortar, and then luckily enough, Magma Storm lands, and I'm able to beat the Mawile, and we're able to beat through Ariana and Archer. And then we can face off against Giovanni, which isn't a difficult fight at all. We easily beat down Giovanni and we can move on. Actually, not move on, because in this cutscene, once you beat Giovanni, you're given a bunch of Megastones. Lance gives you the Megastone for Mega Salamence, which we're going to absolutely use. Absolutely. That's going to be fun to use. As we face off against Claire next. Claire is going to be the 8th and final gym leader in the game. We'll start the battle off against her using my Cloyster to just Liquidation Ice Shard to knock him out. Super simple. Next up, she can switch out to her Magnera next. Magearna. Not Magnera. Magearna. I'm still trying to fix up the pronunciation, okay? Stop yelling at me in comments. Anyways, Magearna takes a Flare Blitz from my Dodrio. It's raining outside, so that's why it survived. So go out to my Flareon next, Fire Fang him. He goes up to his Naganadon next, and I'm like, I don't really have an answer for this. I go out into my Malatake, which I should have went for an Earth Power. I don't know why I didn't go for an Earth Power. I go for a Dazzling Gleam again. It goes for an Estipod again. So you know what? It worked out. Go out to my Flareon, sack him, and then go out to my Cloyster to Ice Shard, knock him out. And then his next Pokemon will be a Duraludon, which is pretty scary. I sack my Cloyster, go out to my Magmortar to Earth Power, do a lot of chip damage, and then go out to my Malatake to outspeed him because I have Choice Scarf on. Dazzling would knock out the rest of his Pokemon. His Dragonite comes out next. Don't want to activate his weakness policy. I go out into my own Salamence. Salamence barely does enough for him, so I could go out to my Malatake to knock him out with a Dazzling Gleam. And we end up beating Claire, and now we can move on and face off against our rivals. Our rivals are pretty simple. We clear through Brendan. Just barely. Oh, Salamence clutched things up again. Salamence is such a broken Pokemon. And we can move on and face off against Victory Road, which, again, I'm using a Flareon. Flareon is so good for some reason. Did they boost Flareon stats? I know they do it for certain Pokemon, but definitely for sure Flareon, because Flareon is super nice to have. Anyways, after we beat Victory Road, we can move on into the Elite Four and challenge against the Elite Four. Unfortunately, Lorelei, of course, this is the first time I've seen Lorelei's Water Team in 3.0. Of course, we face off against Lorelei when we only have Fire Pokemon, but my Fire Pokemon have Desolate Lands, so we could avoid the water moves she wants to use against me. So I can start off Leaf Blading into the Poliwrath and Gunk Shotting into the Politoed. Do the same thing again. Politoed switches out, and then I'm able to knock out the Poliwrath. So I want to save my Desolate Land for later. I got into my Cloyster next. The Cloyster is going to Lovely Kiss as my Malatake unfortunately goes down, so then I have to switch out into my Salamence next. I want to go for Mega and Dragon Dance up as I'm getting a hit with a Psychic Fang and my Cloyster goes down. I go out into my Dodrio, obviously, and then I can Dragon Hammer into Dragovich to knock him out, Gunk Shot into the Kingdra to knock him out as well, and then his next Pokemon will be a Politoed and a Swampert. I decided to go for a Dragon Hammer against a Swampert, go out to my Desolate Land Flareon avoid all the water moves, and just outplay them super easily. Go to my Dodrio next, knock out the Swampert, and then his next Pokemon will be a Politoed. I want to go for a Dual Wing Beat against him, as I could definitely land against the Kyogre. And now it's a 3v1 against the Kyogre, and I'm able to knock him out super simple. And we end up beating Lorelei super easily, and we can move on from her chamber. So her water team's actually pretty easy. As we face off against Bruno next, Bruno is going to be the fighting type Elite Four member. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Cloyster to Liquidation and Ice Shard to knock him out. Zacian comes on next. I can't Lovely Kiss, which I want to do. I'm just going to sack my Cloyster, which actually works out for me as it just goes for close combats. I thought it was going to go for a Swords Dance, normally it does. And then I'm going to go out to my Flareon. I don't know why. I should have just gone out to my Magmortar. Magmortar will Earth Power, knock out the Zacian, and then Magma Storm into the Conk. And then I could go out to my Milotic to Dazzling Gleam, knock out the Conkeldurr, go down to Lucario, but I could go out into my Dodrio next. No, I can't. Dodrio goes down to a close combat. So my final Pokemon will be the Salamence. Luckily enough, I'm dumb, so I went for Baneful Bunker as the first turn. I should have went for a Dragon Dance. He goes for a Swords Dance. I go for a Dragon Dance. He goes for a Swords Dance. I go for a Baneful Bunker. And I'm trying to catch him. And then, luckily enough, I got him with a Dual Wing Beat as he hits me with a Bullet Punch. And then against his Urshifu, I outspeed, Dual Wing Beat would knock him out. Luckily, Salamence is a broken Pokemon, so I'm able to knock out the rest of his team and barely survive against him, just sweeping him down using my Salamence. From there, we can face off against Agatha next. Agatha is going to be the Ghost type Elite Four member, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Milotic to knock out his Zoroark pretty easily, as she switches out to her Aegislash, which I'm just going to go out straight into my Flareon. Flareon is going to one-shot the Aegislash, regardless of his shield mode or not. And then the Silvally comes out, it's going to knock me out, unfortunately. But I'll go out to my Milotic next to Dazzling Gleam twice against him to knock him out. But she switches out to stop switching. She's going to go out to her Gengar. I go out to my Magmortar next because Shadow Shield, obviously. So I can survive a +2 Sludge Wave. And then Earth Power almost knocks her out. I go out into my Cloyster to Ice Shard to knock out the Gengar. And then she sends out her Spectre. I put it to sleep. And then 2 Liquidations will knock her out. Cloyster with Lovely Kiss, it's so nasty. But then I could go to my Milotic against the Marshall to knock him out in 2 shots, knock out the Zoroark, and knock out the Silvally, and we clear through Agatha. But oh my god, my team is so nasty. There are some nasty Pokemon out here. After that, we can face off against Lance next. Lance is the 4th Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Liquidation Drizzle Cloyster. Just knock out his Aerodactyl. Then he's going to send out his Melmetal next. I can't Lovely Kiss. What am I trying to do? I first go out to my Magmortar for some reason, and then go for an Earth Power, and then go out to my Flareon, which I should have done the inverse. But I'm able to Fire Fang, knock out the Melmetal, then knock out the Dragonite's Choice Band, and then go out to my Milotic next to Dazzling Gleam twice to knock him out. Dazzling Gleam one more time to knock out the Dracovish, and the Salamence will knock me out, unfortunately. But I could go out into my Cloyster to just Ice Shard. Maybe I should have Shell Smash, but unfortunately, my Cloyster goes down. I send out my Salamence against the Dialga. Dialga will knock out my Salamence without any issues at all. Okay, go out to my Dodrio. Lucky enough, it decides to go for a rest, so I'm able to just high horsepower and luckily just barely beat him from that. So we'll take the win. We'll take the win. Maybe I choked a little bit, but he choked more. So we're able to beat down Lance, and we could face off against the final trainer in the game. We could face off against the champion of the game. We could face off against our rival. We're going to start the battle off against my rival using my Salamence because he starts with a Pheromosa. He's going to U-turn immediately. So I'm going to go for a Baneful Bunker just to break his Focus Sash for later. And then I'm going to Dragon Dance as he sends out his Metagross, which I can't do anything. So I'm going to go out to my Flareon next, take a Meteor Mash. He gets a plus attack, so he's going to knock me out. I go out to my Magmortar. I need to knock him out with a Magma Storm. Then he sends out his Yveltal, which I can outplay. I just need to do some chip damage to him. I go out to my Salamence. I'm a Dragon Dance in front of him. I take a Dark Hole, and all he needs to do is hit a Sucker Punch. And I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to waste all his Sucker Punches. And you can see, I actually do a pretty good job of it. And I'm able to Dual Wing Beat into him to knock him out. He goes out to his Pheromosa. I Dual Wing Beat. Goes out to his Groudon. I knock him out. Dragon Hammer crit. His Eternatus goes down as well. His next Pokemon and his final Pokemon will be a Ditto, which copies my stat changes. He's going to start reverse sweeping me. He's going to knock out my Milotic. He's going to knock out my Dodrio. My last Pokemon will be my Cloyster, which I put him to sleep on accident because I barely live a Dual Wing Beat. And then I'm able to Ice Shard him twice. And we luckily enough beat down a rival using an Ice Shard, Focus Sash, Lovely Kiss, Cloyster. A strange one at that. And that will do it for the entire randomizer. Can we beat Pokemon Radical Red completely randomized? Yes, we can, and we have some broken Pokemon. Look at this. We want to run through a Pokemon super fast. Salamence with Delta Stream. Dodrio is just crazy. I think it has some kind of ability where it can't get flinch or something like that. Cloyster has Drizzle, Lovely Kiss, Shell Smash, all of that. Flareon has Desolate Land. Magmortar has Shadow Shield, and Milotic had Soul Heart. Some completely broken abilities. Of course, they can make it super good, and on my team, they were just undefeatable. Like, they're crazy Pokemon. Luckily enough, we beat through this challenge. I hope you guys all enjoyed this challenge. Thank you so much for watching all the way today. It means a lot to me. If you guys can, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys on Saturday for the next video. Anyways, my name's been Alpha. Hope you guys all had a great day, and I am out. Peace.